my name is Loreana Toledo. I'm a visual artist from Mexico City, from Mexico. And the word that I chose for Tokyo is covers. I wrote a text about it, so I'm going to read it. The first person I talked to upon my arrival in Japan had his face covered in acne and had a mask covering his mouth and nose. He was very polite when taking me apart to check my passport, and he stamped my 90-day permit. I had seen photos of people wearing this mask, but I had never exchanged any words with any of them, and especially not with anyone wearing one of this mask. It is very difficult to understand what people are trying to tell you or ask you, or even distinguish between a question and an order. Usually, when you agree with someone, you smile. But here it was just me, the tourist, showing her teeth to the officer. If he was smiling back, I could never tell. Later on, I kept seeing these people covered with these shields, and only recently I learned that the shield works in two ways. It is a shield to protect the others from your germs and to protect you from the outside agents like pollen or dust. And it made me think about how the mask became a sort of a gate, like something in between the person, the border between the person and the outside. And that led to some questions like, why does almost everyone at some point needs to be protected, and protected from what? What is it about yourself that you cannot put in the world? If everyone has a protective gate, how does the relation between inside and outside work? How to remove that gate, and if it's really necessary to do so? And how to operate these questions when you don't see the actual mask, but you just feel like there's a shield in like superheroes, like a protective invisible cover. I think that in a practical sense my questions can be answered very easily, but it's more about the symbolic that I want to know about. The first obvious thing is the fact that Japan is an island, so it really has to move from its inside, to mix, to blend, to occupy, to learn from others, to have any contact with any other countries, or to allow that gate to open. For instance, in Mexico, if we drive fast, we can reach 3 different countries in 2 days. We blend easily, most of us are extrovert and loud, and one thing is sure, we hardly ever cover our mouths when we laugh. My whole idea of people protecting themselves from the look of others changed when I saw a girl applying lipstick underneath the shield. It made me conscious of something that I had sensed before in the city, going on in the city. Behind a closed front, there is always something else to be discovered. And it happens all the time when you talk to people, when you turn a corner to find a temple trapped in the grid of a city. Underneath the apparent dullness of a building lies the most fantastic things to eat, specialized nightclubs, people with more careful clothes than anywhere else. But from the outside, by just looking at the doors, you could tell that people and things here are closed. But really, it's far from it. Even though what you see in the subway are gloomy faces fixed to the telephones, underneath lies such complexities that 2 months can only begin to guess. Good and valuable things are not obvious here, and without patience to peel the onion, you will hardly get anything more than a flashy and empty neon sign, most of them with funny word associations in an awkward English language. In my work and in my observations, I'm obsessed with crossovers. I am especially interested when this is done in cover versions, as in pop and rock music, and how the originals change. How the decisions to translating a line in English to fit the other language's metric in a song, for instance, gets all the words and meaning twisted from the original. The example of a song is very obvious in a way to recognize a cover, but if we dig a little bit, the song covering is only the tip of the iceberg in our need to tune in with the dominant part. I have found that the way that advertising here in Japan plays with the English language could be easily mocked, but I also think that it makes less effort to be correct than it would anywhere else. It is as literal as it gets, and I truly believe that it has to do with the cultural pride to preserve the local forms, even if everyone wants to catch up with the Western trends. It is really a delight to see how it's done, and it's a delight also to see young people dressed as they do, so self-conscious, but at the same time with a very precise and Tokyo version of punk, goth, rockabilly, or any other adopted fashions. I have not seen, or hardly ever seen, such appropriation of the foreign as they do here. I believe also that my view of this whole thing is very superficial, that 2 months in Tokyo, I just passed like 1 or maybe 2 of these doors of this immense complexity, and perhaps I'm still judging the book by its cover. Thank you.